when is it time to end a show? That's a question that people will always debate on. On one hand, you have those who see shows as a work of art and think that ending it at its prime is the best way to go. Others see it as a never-ending series that can go on for years, even decades. But does that even matter? For one, it's true that a good show that becomes bad because it went on and on is kind of a disappointment sometimes. I mean, imagine if you took the Mona Lisa and you started graffitiing on it. However, you don't need to watch the bad episodes. I mean, you can always skip over and watch only your favorite episodes and completely ignore the bad ones. The problem with this is that ignoring the bad episodes can strip you from a proper conclusion. So you might have a show like Game of Thrones where if you don't watch the bad episodes, you won't get to the ending because the ending itself might not be what you liked. On the other hand, why would you ever make bad episodes? If your episodes are not as good as they used to be, what's the point of making them? What's the point of ruining something that's completely perfect and just piling on and on and on until it doesn't become perfect? So, when should you end a show? And for me, I think it depends. Usually, episodic TV shows, series that reset every episode or have a loose storyline, can go on forever. For example, Family Guy, CSI, or The Simpsons. Whether you start on season 5, episode 1, or season 18, episode 12, with these shows, it doesn't matter. You're on the same page as everyone else, except maybe for a couple of like recurring jokes or character traits that the OGs might know of that you don't. But all in all, you're pretty much on the same page as someone who's been watching the show for like 10 years. So with these shows, they can really go on and on with no ending. Even if they get worse as they go on, it doesn't matter. And that is also a different way to see it. Why should you end a show if people are interested in watching? Isn't that the whole point of a show? And if people want to see it, then there's no point in ending it so early. However, shows that are serialized, meaning series that have a continuous stories, should end at their primes. Shows like The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, or Stranger Things. There's a lot of story being developed. Following the story becomes a commitment, but one that cannot be kept forever. You can't have an infinite amount of character development, an infinite amount of themes explored, or an infinite amount of intertwining storylines. There's going to be a point where your audience is going to be tired of seeing your characters grow, and there's going to be a point where your characters can't grow any further. Those serialized shows cannot go on forever like Family Guy. A show like Stranger Things cannot go on forever like The Simpsons. They can't be fighting monsters for the next 30 years. The magic is going to be lost at a certain point, and people are just not going to care anymore. Of course, there's exceptions, like shows that are hybrids of episodic and serialized TV shows, something like Rick and Morty. Those shows can kind of work both ways. On one hand, I would see why a show like Rick and Morty could go on for like another 15 years, but at the same time, I would prefer for it to just end at its prime. That's what I think. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Should you end a show at its prime, or should you just keep going? Thank you for watching.